Friends, most of us spend our days on autopilot. We scroll, we worry, we overthink, we replay old conversations, and by the end of the day, we are exhausted, not because we did too much, but because our thoughts did too much. But imagine a life where your mind is calm, where clarity replaces confusion, where peace replaces stress. That life is not somewhere far away. It begins with the habits you build today. And no, you don't need months of meditation or sitting in silence for hours. 7 small, simple habits can begin to change your mind and, in turn, change your life. Habits so easy, you can start them right after you leave this room. Have you ever noticed how your day often starts in a rush? The alarm rings, and before you even open your eyes, your mind is already racing. Did I finish that work yesterday? What will happen today? I have so many things to do. And just like that, before your body even wakes up, your mind is already exhausted. Friends, this is how most of us begin our mornings, drowning in thoughts that don't even belong to today. And the result, a day spent reacting to life instead of living it. But what if I told you that there is a simple habit, something so small, yet so profound that can completely transform the way you experience your day? It begins with silence. Yes, silence. When I say silence, I'm not just talking about the absence of noise. I'm talking about the presence of peace. The kind of silence that lets your mind breathe. The kind of calm that allows you to see clearly before the world starts pulling you in 1,000 directions. Imagine starting your morning without your phone, without notifications, without the constant chatter that our brains have become addicted to. Imagine just sitting quietly, closing your eyes, and simply being. At first, it may feel strange, your mind may resist, thoughts may flood in. I need to check my messages. Did I send that email? And that is completely normal. Your mind has been busy for years, and it doesn't want to be quiet, but that is exactly why this practice is so powerful. By choosing silence, you are teaching your mind that it doesn't have to be in constant motion, that it doesn't have to react to every impulse, every worry, every distraction. Starting your day with silence is like giving yourself a gift of clarity. When you sit quietly, even for 5 minutes, you create a space between your thoughts and yourself. And in that space, you discover something extraordinary, the awareness that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are like clouds passing in the sky, sometimes dark, sometimes light, but you, the sky itself, remain untouched, serene, and steady. This simple awareness can change everything. When you begin the day with this calmness, you carry it with you into every interaction, every challenge, and every decision. You are no longer reacting to life out of habit, you are responding with intention. Friends, I know that mornings can feel like a battle. You have work, responsibilities, kids, emails, traffic. The temptation is to hit the alarm, jump out of bed, and immediately dive into the chaos. But here's the thing, how you start your day sets the tone for the rest of it. If you begin with stress, rush, and noise, the rest of your day is likely to mirror that. But if you begin with stillness, with silence, you set a foundation of calm that carries through everything you do. It's like watering a plant. If you water it gently and consistently, it grows strong and healthy. If you neglect it or drown it in too much at once, it struggles. Your mind is the same. Silence is the gentle water that nourishes it. And the beauty of this practice is its simplicity. You don't need a fancy meditation cushion, a special room, or hours of time. 5 to 10 minutes is enough to make a difference. You can sit on your bed, on a chair, even on the floor. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Notice the sounds around you without judgment. Let your thoughts drift by like leaves on a river. And most importantly, allow yourself to just be. In those moments, you are giving your mind permission to reset, to shake off the residue of yesterday, and to start fresh. Over time, you will notice changes. You'll notice that you're less reactive when someone cuts you off in traffic. You'll notice that minor annoyances at work no longer derail your day. You'll notice that your creativity flows more freely. Your decisions feel clearer, and even your relationships improve because you are more present. This is the magic of starting your day with silence. It is a small action with enormous ripple effects. Friends, I encourage you to experiment. Tomorrow morning, before your phone, before your tasks, before your thoughts drag you into worry, sit quietly. Give yourself the gift of 5 minutes of silence. And if 5 minutes feels long, start with 1. Even 1 minute of intentional quiet can plant a seed of calm that grows over time. You'll be surprised how life begins to change. Not because the world changes, but because you have learned to begin your day differently. And when your mornings change, your days change, and when your days change, your life changes. So today, make a promise to yourself. Let silence be the first sound you hear in the morning. Let it guide you, let it ground you, let it remind you that peace is always possible, even in a busy world. Start your day with silence, and you will discover that the world does not have to control your mind. You can choose calm, clarity, and joy. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to focus on what's missing in our lives? We wake up thinking about the bills we haven't paid, the deadlines we might miss, the mistakes we made yesterday, or the opportunities we didn't get. Somehow, the mind has this incredible talent of highlighting the negatives while completely ignoring the blessings that are already surrounding us. Friends, this is why practicing gratitude is one of the most powerful habits we can cultivate. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly allows you to see all the good that was always there, but hidden behind the fog of complaint, expectation, and comparison. Gratitude is not just a polite thank you. We say when someone gives us a gift, it's a conscious choice to notice, appreciate, and celebrate the goodness in our life, no matter how small. It is a practice that rewires our mind from scarcity to abundance. Think about it. When you focus on what you lack, your mind tightens, your heart contracts, and you feel restless and dissatisfied. But when you focus on what you already have, your mind relaxes, your heart expands, and even the challenges of life feel a little lighter. Gratitude is not a magic wand that makes problems disappear, but it is a magic lens that allows us to see life differently, a lens that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary gifts. The beauty of gratitude is in its simplicity. You don't need a lot of time, you don't need special skills, and you don't need to be in a perfect situation. All you need is a pen, a notebook, and the willingness to notice the good. Every morning or every evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be simple: a hot cup of tea, a smile from a stranger, a text from a friend, the sound of birds outside your window. These may seem like tiny, insignificant things, but they are the threads that weave the fabric of a joyful life. By consciously acknowledging these blessings, you tell your brain, I see the goodness, I appreciate the goodness, and I choose to focus on the goodness. Friends, when you start practicing gratitude, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind starts scanning for blessings instead of problems. You notice the little acts of kindness that you used to overlook. You notice the beauty in a sunrise, the laughter of your children, or the comforting presence of a loved one. even the challenges you face begin to feel different because you are no longer trapped in negativity. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulty, but it changes the way we perceive it. It gives us strength, hope, and perspective. It reminds us that even on the hardest days, there is always something to be thankful for. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One person is grumbling, honking, frustrated that the day has started badly. The other person is silently thankful for having a car, for having a job that takes them somewhere, for the opportunity to see the city wake up around them. The traffic is the same for both, but the experience is completely different. Gratitude doesn't change circumstances, it changes perception. And perception, my friends, is everything. You may be thinking, but what about big problems, big losses, big failures? Yes, there are moments when life hurts deeply, when tragedy shakes us, when we feel there is nothing to be grateful for. And even then, gratitude can be practiced, not as denial, but as a conscious choice to notice what remains. Maybe it's the love of a friend, the lessons learned, or the simple fact that you are still breathing, still capable of hope, still capable of starting again. Gratitude in difficult times is like a candle in the dark. It doesn't remove the darkness, but it gives you something to hold on to, a spark of light that keeps you moving forward. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is how it improves relationships. When we express gratitude to the people around us, it strengthens bonds, builds trust, and spreads positivity. A simple thank you or a heartfelt note can transform someone's day and, in turn, create a ripple effect of kindness and joy. Gratitude turns ordinary interactions into meaningful connections, and it reminds us that we are not alone in this journey of life. Friends, let me challenge you. Tonight, before you sleep, take a moment and write down 3 things you are grateful for. And don't just list them, feel them. Let gratitude fill your heart. Let it soften your mind. Let it remind you that life is a gift, even when it doesn't feel perfect. And tomorrow morning, do it again. And the next day, and the next. Over time, this simple habit will quietly, gently, and profoundly change the way you experience life. You will find that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you notice, something you cultivate, something you practice. Practicing gratitude is like tending a garden. If you water it, nurture it, and care for it daily, it blooms with flowers, fragrance, and beauty. If you ignore it, weeds of negativity and discontent take over. Your mind is your garden. Gratitude is the water. And the more you practice it, the more your mind will bloom with peace, joy, and contentment. So friends, today I invite you to start this beautiful habit. Look around, notice the good, celebrate it, write it down, feel it, and carry it with you. Make gratitude your daily companion and watch how your mind, your heart, and your life begin to change, one small thankful thought at a time. Friends, have you ever noticed how easy it is for negativity to sneak into our minds? One minute you are feeling okay, and the next minute, after scrolling through your phone, reading the news, or listening to someone complain endlessly, your mind feels heavy, tense, and restless. Negativity is contagious, just like a cold. If you expose yourself to it constantly, it enters your thoughts, your mood, and even your behavior without you realizing it. But here's the good news. Just as you have the power to absorb negativity, you also have the power to limit it. And that is exactly what this habit is all about, learning to be intentional about what you allow into your mind so that your thoughts remain calm, clear, and positive. Limiting negative inputs doesn't mean ignoring reality or living in denial. It doesn't mean pretending that challenges don't exist. Life will always have problems, disappointments, and difficulties. But it does mean being conscious of the sources that constantly bombard your mind with fear, anxiety, comparison, or judgment, because your mind can only handle so much and every input leaves an impression. Imagine your mind is like a sponge. If you dip it into dirty water every day, it becomes soaked in grime. But if you choose to soak it in clean water, fresh water, water that nourishes it, it stays clean, fresh, and ready to serve its purpose. Limiting negative inputs is simply choosing what to soak your mind in. Let's start with the media we consume. The news, social media feeds, sensational headlines, they are designed to grab attention, to shock, to make you scroll endlessly. And while it is important to be informed, constant exposure to negativity can create stress, fear, and even a distorted view of the world. Friends, I am not asking you to become blind to reality, but I am asking you to be selective. Choose the sources that empower you, educate you, and uplift you. Limit the news to a short, intentional period each day rather than letting it dictate your mood from morning to night. Curate your social media feeds. Unfollow, mute, or block content that leaves you anxious, envious, or angry. Your mind deserves the same care you give your body when choosing what to eat. Feed it nourishment, not toxins. The people we surround ourselves with also play a huge role in our mental state. Friends, have you ever noticed that after spending time with certain people, you feel drained, irritated, or anxious? That is not a coincidence. Energy is contagious. The more time you spend with people who complain, gossip, or dwell on negativity, the more your mind mirrors that energy. On the other hand, when you spend time with people who inspire, encourage, and uplift, your mind feels lighter, brighter, and more peaceful. This is why it is crucial to choose your company wisely. Protect your inner space by surrounding yourself with positivity, or at the very least, neutrality. You don't have to engage in arguments, listen to endless complaints, or absorb every negative story. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for your mind is to simply step back. Limiting negative inputs also applies to your own inner dialogue. Friends, many of us are our own worst critics. We replay mistakes, magnify failures, and criticize ourselves relentlessly. Even if the external world is neutral, our internal world can be a storm of negativity. And here's the reality: the mind believes what it hears repeatedly. If you constantly feed it criticism, fear, and doubt, it will grow anxious and restless. But if you intentionally speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and perspective, your mind begins to calm down. Limiting negativity means noticing these internal patterns and consciously choosing thoughts that uplift rather than drag you down. Another area where negativity seeps in is entertainment. The movies, TV shows, and even books we consume have a subtle effect on our emotions. Constant exposure to violent, cynical, or pessimistic content leaves impressions on our subconscious. Over time, it shapes how we perceive the world, often without our awareness. Friends, this is why it is so important to consume consciously. Choose content that inspires, educates, or brings joy. Let your mind experience beauty, hope, and humor so that it starts the day ready for calmness and clarity. And here's the beauty: when you start limiting negative inputs, you will notice a shift in your life almost immediately. You will feel lighter, more focused, and more peaceful. Decisions become easier because your mind is not clouded by constant noise. Relationships improve because you bring calm energy instead of tension. Even challenges feel less overwhelming because your mind has space to see solutions rather than just problems. Friends, think of your mind as a garden. If you allow weeds of negativity to grow unchecked, they will take over. But if you carefully remove them and plant seeds of positivity, encouragement, and inspiration, your garden will flourish. Limiting negative inputs is like pulling the weeds before they grow too strong. It is not about ignoring reality, but about protecting the space where your thoughts can thrive. So today, I encourage you to take a step. Notice what you watch, what you read, who you listen to, and even what you say to yourself. Ask yourself, is this nourishing my mind or draining it? And choose intentionally. This simple habit, practiced daily, will slowly, quietly, and powerfully calm your thoughts, giving you clarity, peace, and control over your inner world. Remember, friends, your mind is precious. Protect it, feed it well, and watch how your life begins to reflect the calm and clarity you have cultivated within. Friends, have you ever felt that no matter how much you do, it never feels enough? You are answering emails while checking your phone, listening to a meeting while thinking about the next task, cooking while trying to supervise the kids. And in the midst of all this, you feel tired, frustrated, and scattered. Your mind is constantly jumping from one thing to another, and even when you try to focus, it rebels, dragging you into distraction after distraction. This, my friends, is the curse of multitasking. And here's the truth. Our brains were never designed to do many things at once. They were designed to focus, to absorb, and to fully engage with one thing at a time. Doing one thing at a time is not just about efficiency, it's about calm, presence, and clarity. When we attempt to do too many things at once, our mind is split, divided, and stressed. We may feel busy, but we are not productive. In fact, research shows that multitasking reduces efficiency, increases mistakes, and leaves us mentally exhausted. The mind cannot pour itself fully into multiple streams at once. It becomes a trickling faucet instead of a strong river. But when we focus on one thing, when we give our full attention, we tap into the depth and power of our mind. Suddenly, what seemed difficult becomes manageable, and what seemed stressful becomes clear. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are eating a meal while watching TV and scrolling through your phone. You might finish the meal, but did you taste it? Did you enjoy it? Your mind was elsewhere, divided, distracted. Now imagine eating the same meal with full attention, smelling the aroma, savoring the flavors, feeling gratitude for the food in front of you. That simple act of focusing on one thing brings peace, satisfaction, and awareness. Friends, life is exactly like this. The more we split our attention, the more we miss the richness of the moment. The more we focus, the more we experience. This habit of doing one thing at a time can transform every aspect of life. At work, instead of juggling multiple tasks and feeling overwhelmed, focus fully on the most important task first. Give it your complete attention. Notice how the quality of your work improves, how time seems to flow more smoothly, and how your stress decreases. At home, when you are with family or friends, be present with them, really listen, really engage, really feel. When we divide our attention, relationships suffer. But when we give our full presence, we create connection, love, and trust. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, but I have so much to do. I don't have time to focus on one thing. Friends, ironically, this is exactly why this habit is so important. When we attempt to do everything at once, we create the illusion of business but achieve little. By focusing on one thing at a time, we actually become more productive, more effective, and more fulfilled. It is not about doing less, it is about doing better. It is not about slowing down, it is about moving forward with clarity. The habit of single-minded focus also helps to calm the mind. When your attention is scattered, your thoughts are scattered, and your emotions follow. Anxiety rises, stress builds, and peace seems impossible. But when you train yourself to focus on one thing, even for a short period, you give your mind a chance to rest from chaos, to engage fully, and to find flow. That flow state, the feeling of being completely absorbed, completely present, is one of the most peaceful and satisfying experiences a human can have. And it is available to anyone simply by choosing to do one thing at a time. Friends, this habit is also deeply connected to mindfulness. Mindfulness is not about sitting in silence for hours. It is about bringing full attention to whatever you are doing, whether washing dishes, writing a report, or talking to a friend. It is about immersing yourself fully in the present moment, without distraction, without judgment, without rushing. Each act becomes meaningful, each moment becomes alive, and your mind begins to experience calm instead of chaos. Another important aspect is intention. Doing one thing at a time requires us to decide what truly matters. Life is full of choices, and our attention is precious. By focusing on one thing, we are saying to ourselves, "This is important. This deserves my full energy, my full presence." It is a declaration of value, value for the task, value for the people, value for ourselves. And in a world that constantly demands our attention from 1,000 directions, this act of intention is a form of self-respect. Friends, I encourage you to experiment with this habit. Tomorrow, choose one task and give it your full attention. Notice how it feels. Notice the difference in quality, in ease, in satisfaction. Then practice it in small moments throughout the day, eating a meal, talking to someone, even brushing your teeth. Each moment of focused attention is a small victory for your mind, a small step toward inner calm. Over time, this habit compounds. Your mind becomes less scattered, your work becomes more meaningful, your relationships deepen, and your life begins to feel calmer, richer, and more present. So today, I invite you to take a step. Notice where your mind is scattered, where you are dividing yourself into pieces, where business has replaced presence. Choose one thing at a time. Focus fully. Immerse yourself. Feel the difference. Because friends, the calm you seek, the clarity you desire, the peace you dream of, it begins with one thing, fully, right now. Friends, have you ever noticed how connected our body and mind truly are? Most of us spend our days sitting at work, in meetings, in traffic, on the phone, completely absorbed in our thoughts. And as we sit, our minds race even faster. Stress builds, tension accumulates, anxiety creeps in. Yet, the solution is often simpler than we think. Move your body. And I don't mean just for the sake of appearance or weight loss. I mean move your body to release stress, to energize your mind, and to bring clarity and calm into your life. Movement is one of the oldest, simplest, and most effective tools we have for mental health, yet it is often overlooked. Think about it for a moment. When you are anxious, what does your body feel like? Tight shoulders, a racing heartbeat, shallow breathing, a heavy chest. And when you move, walk, stretch, jog, or even dance, something magical happens. Your mind begins to shift. The tension that felt permanent suddenly starts to release. Your thoughts, once tangled, start to untangle. This is because movement is not just physical, it communicates with your brain in ways we often ignore. Every stretch, every step, every breath while moving sends a message to your nervous system. It's okay. You are safe. You are alive. Movement resets the mind in the most direct and natural way. Friends, it is fascinating how our ancestors understood this even without neuroscience. Work, play, dance, and movement were part of daily life. The mind and body were never meant to be separate. Yet today, we live in chairs, surrounded by screens, disconnected from our physical selves. And what happens? The mind becomes restless, anxiety increases, creativity diminishes, and stress becomes chronic. Movement is like a reset button. A 10-minute walk, a few stretches, even a few deep, intentional squats or yoga poses can awaken the body, soothe the nervous system, and bring a clarity that sitting endlessly cannot provide. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself walking in nature. The sun is shining. The breeze brushes your face. You take each step intentionally, noticing the rhythm, the sensation, the connection to the ground. With each step, your mind begins to quiet. Thoughts of yesterday's worries, tomorrow's to-do list, the endless demands of life, they start to fade into the background. Movement, in its purest form, is meditation in motion. It brings awareness, presence, and calm simultaneously. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't require a special place or a special time. Anywhere, anytime, movement works. But movement is not only about calming the mind, it is also about energizing it. Have you ever felt mentally stuck, tired, or sluggish, and then taken a brisk walk or done a short workout? Suddenly, your creativity flows, your ideas multiply, and your focus sharpens. The body and mind are partners. When you awaken the body, the mind awakens as well. Our thoughts are not purely abstract, they are influenced by the physical state of our nervous system. Tension, fatigue, and stagnation in the body lead to scattered, anxious thoughts. Movement dissolves this tension, freeing the mind to think clearly and respond with calmness. Friends, movement also teaches discipline and presence. When we commit to moving daily, even in small ways, we are sending a powerful message to ourselves. I value my body. I value my mind. I am willing to invest in myself. And this habit, repeated consistently, creates a ripple effect. Physical movement improves sleep, digestion, energy levels, and emotional stability. The benefits are not just temporary, they accumulate, quietly building resilience, patience, and mental strength over time. Movement is like a daily dialogue with your mind, reminding it that life is meant to flow, not stagnate. And here's the secret: movement doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a gym membership, fancy equipment, or hours of training. Simple acts, walking, stretching, yoga, dancing, playing with children, or even cleaning mindfully count. The key is intention. Move with awareness. Move with purpose. Notice the sensations, the breath, the rhythm. Let movement become a way to connect with your body, honor your mind, and release stress before it becomes a storm. Friends, the habit of moving your body is more than a health tip. It is a lifeline, a tool for mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner calm. A 10-minute walk in the morning, a few stretches in the afternoon, a short dance to your favorite song in the evening. Each act is a gift to your mind and body. It reminds you that you are alive, capable, and present. So today I encourage you to take a step, literally. Stand up, stretch, walk, dance. Feel your body moving. Notice how your mind changes with it. Notice how the simple act of movement can dissolve tension, awaken energy, and bring clarity. Because friends, peace of mind does not live only in meditation or silence, it also lives in motion. And when you combine movement with awareness, with intention, and with love for yourself, you create a powerful foundation for a calm, focused, and joyful life. Move your body, friends, and you will find that your mind moves with it, lighter, clearer, calmer, and ready to meet the day with energy and peace. Friends, have you ever noticed how your mind can feel like a stormy sea? Waves of thoughts crash over you, one after the other. Worries about work, family, money, past mistakes, future uncertainties, and sometimes it feels like there's no calm in sight. And yet, there is something incredibly simple, completely free, and always available to you that can instantly calm these storms: your breath. Breathing, something we do automatically without thinking every moment of our lives. And yet, when we consciously pay attention to it, when we bring awareness to each inhale and each exhale, we unlock one of the most powerful tools for mental clarity, emotional stability, and inner peace. Mindful breathing is not just a technique, it is a lifeline. It is a reminder that no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is one thing we can always control: how we breathe. And when we control our breath, we begin to control our mind. Friends, have you ever felt your heart racing, your thoughts spinning, your anxiety rising, and then took a few deep breaths and felt instantly lighter? That is not magic, that is science. When we slow down our breathing, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the body's natural calming mechanism. It tells the mind, it's okay, you are safe, you can relax. And this simple act, just noticing your breath, can reduce stress, calm anxiety, and bring clarity in moments when everything feels overwhelming. The beauty of mindful breathing is that it is always available. You don't need a special place, special clothes, or hours of time. Anywhere, anytime, you can take a pause, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. It can be while waiting in traffic, standing in a long line, sitting at your desk, or even lying in bed before sleep. And even just 1 minute of conscious breathing can make a difference. Imagine, friends, that your breath is like a gentle river. When your mind is turbulent, it's like a stormy ocean. But by focusing on your breath, you guide your mind back to calm waters. The waves may still exist, but they no longer toss you around. They carry you gently forward. Mindful breathing also teaches presence. Most of us spend our lives living in the past or the future. We replay old mistakes or anxiously plan for what hasn't happened yet. And in doing so, we miss the only moment that truly exists now. By paying attention to the rhythm of our breath, the inhale, the exhale, the rise and fall of the chest, we anchor ourselves in the present. We reconnect with life as it is, not life as it was or life as it might be. This is the essence of mindfulness: presence, awareness, and acceptance. And with presence comes calm, clarity, and a profound sense of peace. Friends, another powerful aspect of mindful breathing is its effect on emotions. Emotions are like weather, they come and go. Anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, these clouds may appear, but they do not have to dictate your life. When you pause, take a few conscious breaths, and simply observe without judgment, you create a gap between the emotion and your reaction. In that gap lies choice. You may still feel the emotion, but you no longer act impulsively. You no longer allow the storm to control you. You become the sky, calm and steady, observing the clouds pass by. And this habit, repeated daily, quietly transforms the way you respond to challenges, conflicts, and stress. Now, I know some of you may think, breathing, that's too simple. Can it really help? Friends, the simplest things are often the most profound. Breathing is life itself. Every inhale is an opportunity to bring in energy, clarity, and calm. Every exhale is a chance to release tension, worry, and fear. And when we consciously connect with this natural rhythm, we remind ourselves that we are alive, that we are present, and that peace is always available within us. Let me give you a small practice you can try even now. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes if you like. Inhale slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Hold for a moment. Exhale gently through your mouth, counting to 4. Focus only on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. Notice how even a minute of this practice can make your shoulders relax, your chest feel lighter, and your mind feel clearer. And imagine doing this 3 or 4 times a day. Just a few minutes, a few breaths can transform your day from scattered and stressful to calm and intentional. Friends, the habit of taking mindful breathing breaks is a gift you give yourself. It is a pause in a busy world. It is a moment of self-care, self-awareness, and self-compassion. It reminds you that no matter what is happening around you, you can always return to your center. And when your mind is centered, your thoughts are calm, your decisions are clear, and your life becomes more peaceful. So today, I encourage you to take a deep breath, literally. Make it a habit. Pause during the day. Focus on your breath, feel it, own it. Let it remind you that calmness is not something you have to chase. It is something that lives within you, always available, waiting for you to notice. And the more you practice, the more your mind will learn to follow your breath into peace, clarity, and joy.